So today's session is about the state space representations for continuous time systems. There are basically three types of representations: differential equation representation denoted by dE, transfer function representation denoted by TF, and state model representation denoted by SM. We can see that all these three representations can be converted from one to the other two. We are interested today in seeing how a state model representation can be obtained from transfer function. This can be easily done using a signal flow graph. The idea of Mason's gain formula can be used to obtain the signal flow graph. In the previous semester in linear control system, you have seen how a transfer function can be obtained given a signal flow graph using Mason's gain formula. So here what we do is the reverse form. So let us have a quick look into the Mason's gain formula. As per the Mason's gain formula, a transfer function y of s by u of s is equal to sigma delta k pk by delta, where delta k is the determinant of the path with gain pk is the path gain of the kth path, and delta is the determinant of the entire graph. You can see that delta is given by 1 minus sigma li plus sigma li lj minus sigma li lj lk plus etc. This shows that we need to consider loops with gains L1, L2, etc. and also we need to consider whether there are non-touching loops. If there are non-touching loops, you need to identify the combinations of 2 each, 3 each, 4 each, etc. So let us take an example. Here you are given a signal flow graph. Let us first start with identifying the paths, forward paths. Basically there are two paths, G1, G2, G3, that is P1, and P2, which is given by G4. And if you identify the loops, you can see that there are 4 loops: minus G1 H1, minus G2 H2, and minus G3 H3. These are simple loops which are easily identified, and L4, which is given by G4 minus H3 minus H2 minus H1. You can see that while G4 path is traversed in the forward direction, these nodes are not utilized. Hence, we can very well use those nodes in the feedback path, and that is why this loop can be taken. And you can't take G1, G2, G3 minus H3 minus H2 minus H1 just because in the forward traversal these nodes are used by gains G1, G2 and G3. So while reverse direction is taken through minus H3 minus H2, those nodes will be again taken. Hence we can't use this as a loop. And now coming to delta. Here if you look at the loops, you can see that loop L1 and L3 are non-touching loops. Non-touching loops means loops that do not share a common node or a branch. So we have only 2 non-touching loops. Hence in the equation for delta we need to identify only L1 and L3 as a combination of 2 non-touching loops. While you determine delta 1, what you have to do is you remove the path P1 and see whether any loops exist. If any loops exist, then use those loops in the equation of delta and write the equation for the corresponding delta k. So here in this case we consider delta 1. When you consider delta 1, you need to remove the path P1. There are no loops existing when the path P1 is removed. Hence none of the loops are used in this equation for delta. So what remains will be just delta equal to 1, and hence we have delta 1 is equal to 1. Now coming to delta 2. In order to identify delta 2, we need to remove path P2. When the path P2 is removed, you can see that this path is being removed. So these nodes are also removed, which means loops L1 and L3 are removed along with L4. But L2, the loop L2 remains as such, intact. Hence, in the equation for delta, we just need to use L2 LO. So we can retain L2 in this equation. So we have delta 2 as 1 minus L2. Then substitute all these in the equation given above, and you can see that y of s by u of s is as shown here. Now let us see how this idea can be utilized in order to obtain the signal flow graph from a given transfer function, or how you can obtain a signal flow graph easily, how you can uniquely obtain a signal flow graph. Here, if you consider the transfer function, a unique way of obtaining a signal flow graph given a transfer function is identifying two different cases. That is, let us assume that there are no loops existing when any of the path is removed. So if that is the case, you can see that all the delta i's become 1. Because when a path is removed, there are no loops existing, which means that delta i's will be 1. And let us also assume that there are no non-touching loops. In that case, you can see that all these terms, higher terms, will be removed. So the transfer function equation reduces to the one shown here, which is P1 plus P2 plus P3 plus etc. by 1 minus L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus etc. Which means that if you can write a transfer function in such a way that all the numerator terms represent paths and denominator terms can be represented by 1 minus sum of loops, then we can obtain a unique signal flow graph. And this idea is utilized in order to obtain the signal flow graph for obtaining the state model representation. This is because if you go with delta i's, there can be different combinations of signal flow graph that can be obtained. And let us see how this can be used. Here we are trying to obtain the first form of state model, which is called controllable canonical form. It is also called phase variable form. So this is obtained while transfer function is given. This method, which is discussed here, is used to obtain the phase variable form or controllable canonical form given a transfer function. We have seen how phase variable forms can be obtained from differential equation forms just by substituting output as one of the state variable and its successive derivatives as the other state variable in another video. So here, given a transfer function, first thing is you need to convert this as functions of s raised to minus 1, because s raised to minus 1 is a Laplace representation of an integrator. S raised to minus 1 is nothing but 1 by s. 1 by s correspond to integrator. We will see how these integrators can help in obtaining the state model. Anyway, we will start with the function of s raised to minus 1. So here you identify what is the highest degree in the denominator. So divide it by the numerator and denominator by the highest degree. So you can see that it gets reduced to this form. Now what we do is we draw the signal flow graphs with these integrators. Here if you look at the transfer function, you can see that the highest order is s raised to minus 3, which means that there should be 3 s raised to minus 1 terms. So let us draw 3 s raised to minus 1 terms. Now we draw the input side and the output side. And now we start placing the paths and the loops. So in the controllable canonical form, we start with the highest degree in the path. It is 2 s raised to minus 3. The coefficient of that highest degree is written at the output side in the case of controllable canonical form. So here we can see that the gain is obtained 2 s raised to minus 3. So this can be 1. Now we try to utilize these integrators for forming the other paths also. We can't use different integrators because as per the transfer function it says it is of order 3 and we can use only 3 integrators. So we need to utilize these 3 integrators to form the other paths and loops also. So this is 2s raised to minus 3. We can use these 2 integrators with a gain 3. So we have a path with gain 3s raised to minus 2, and we also have a path with gain 1s raised to minus 1. Now we start forming the loops from this side, so that whenever a path is removed, that loop also will be removed. So we have minus 7s raised to minus 1, minus 12s raised to minus 2, and we have minus 15s raised to, so you can see that this is, instead of plus, this is minus. Now the idea is, you name the output of each integrator as a state variable. And you start defining the terms. This is an integrator, and this is written as x1, which means x1 dot will be this node. So what is basically x1 dot? It is equal to the sum of the signals reaching that node. You can see that to this node there is only one signal that reaches. x3 is x2 dot. Integral of x2 dot is nothing but x2. So I can write x1 dot as x2. Now coming to x2 dot. x2 dot is just x3 as discussed previously. There are 4 paths that come there, that is minus 15x1, minus 12x2, minus 7x3. You can see that towards the right side of these equations, we can't write any of the derivative terms. It should only be functions of xi, that is x1, x2, x3, etc. only can be used towards the right side. The left side should be first order derivatives. Y equal to 2x1 plus 3x2 plus x3. Now we get a state model of the form x dot is equal to, that is we write x1 dot, x2 dot, x3 dot. It is called state vector derivative. You can write 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, minus 15, minus 12, minus 7 into x1, x2, x3 plus 0, 0, 1 into u. Here you have a u term also. So y is equal to 2, 3, 1, x. So this is controllable canonical form. Now moving to observable canonical form. The same idea can be used as discussed before, and here what we do is, we find that there are 3 paths and 3 loops. This should be written in the standard form, 1 minus of minus 7s raised to minus 1, minus 12s raised to minus 2, minus 15s raised to minus 3, because it is 1 minus sum of loops in the equation for Mason's gain formula. So these will be paths and these will be loops. And in this case, the gain of the highest degree is written towards the input side, and hence this will be 1. Now we form the other paths with these integrators, that is 3 and this will be 1. We start forming the loops towards the output side, minus 7, minus 12, minus 15. Then we name integrator outputs as the state variables. This is because if you name the integrator outputs as the state variables, we can easily write equation for x1 dot, x2 dot and x3 dot. That is why we use integrators. So x1 dot will be this node. So we can see it is x2 plus u minus 7x1. x2 dot will be this node. So we have x3 minus 12x1 plus 3u. x3 dot will be this node minus 15x1 plus 2u, and y is equal to x1 alone. So I can write x dot as minus 710 minus 1201 minus 1500 x1 x2 x3 plus 1 3 2 into u. Y is equal to 100 into x. Let us also discuss the diagonal canonical form. Here in the diagonal canonical form, the first order factors are obtained by using a signal flow graph in the parallel form. So here the transfer function is given by 1 by s plus 3 into s plus 2, and it can be done in the factored form, written in the factored form as 1 by s plus 2 minus 1 by s plus 3. So each of these terms can be treated as a transfer function that relates input and the output. So we have two integrators. It is of order 2. So we need to use only two integrators. Then we have the input and the output. Then I can write s raised to minus 1, s raised to minus 1. So the path gain will be 1. The path gain is written here. So this will be 1, and this, if there is any path gain, you can write here towards the output. We can mark the state variables as x1 and x2 minus 2x1 plus u, and x2 dot will be minus 3x2 plus u. Y will be x1 plus x2. So the state model will be minus 2 0 0 minus 3 into x plus 1 1 into u, y equal to 1 into x. So what it says is, it is a decoupled form. So x1 dot depends only on x1 and x2 dot depends only on x2. It doesn't depend on other state variables. So we can also see that these poles are the diagonal elements. So here we discuss a Jordan canonical form, which is an extended form of diagonal canonical form. It's a case with repeated eigenvalues. I take an example, y of s by u of s is equal to 3 by s plus 1 the whole square plus 5 by s plus 1 plus 2 by s plus 6. We can see that it can be written in the function of s raised to minus 1 as shown here. And if you consider the first term's denominator, that is 1 plus s raised to minus 1 the whole square, it can be written like 1 plus 2s raised to minus 1 plus s raised to minus 2. It can be expanded like these and can be obtained in this form. So if you look at this one, you can see that this may be treated as two loops L1 and L2 which are non-touching in one. So if you consider a loop system like this with path gain as 3s raised to minus 2 and loops like s raised to minus 1 into s raised to minus 1 negative s raised to minus 1, we can see that we can have a signal flow graph in this form. So while dealing with Jordan canonical form, we just exempt the assumption that there are no non-touching loops in the signal flow graph being drawn. So we can start with the signal flow graph. Here, since the order of the system is 3, we need to draw 3 integrators. Then we can mark the output and the input. So these integrators will be s raised to minus 1, s raised to minus 1, s raised to minus 1. We can mark the loops like minus 1, minus 1, minus 6. Now, in order to form this path, we need to utilize 2 s raised to minus 1 terms and also the 2 loops, that is minus s raised to minus 1 and this minus s raised to minus 1 loop. How we can draw the signal flow graph is, you connect the input to this one and connect these two like this with forward path. Then we can connect this towards the output. If I stretch it, it appears as, so if you look at the signal flow graph, you can see that these are 2 non-touching loops. So the part L1, L2 is there and L1 and L2 are single terms. So this corresponds to a transfer function like this one. So this will be 1. Now coming to the second term, that is 5s raised to minus 1, that also correspond to one of these loops. So I can mark that 5 here. So if I consider this path gain, this is 5s raised to minus 1 with a single loop s raised to minus s raised to minus 1. Now coming to the third one, I can write this s2. Now we can mark the state variables as outputs of integrators, and this is y and this is u. x1 dot will be minus x1 plus x2. This will be 1. x2 dot will be minus x2 plus u. x3 dot will be minus 6 x3 plus u. This gain is also 1. And y equal to 3x1 plus 5x2 plus 2x3. So in short, if I look at the state model, this will be minus 1, 1, 0, 0, minus 1, 0, 0, 0, minus 6 into x, 0, 1, 0, 1 into u. Y equal to 3, 5, 2 into x. And here, if you look at the state model, we can see that there is something called the Jordan block here that correspond to the repeated eigenvalues. Thank you.